Hey, what's going on? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. And in this video, we are going to be discussing the core of your kettlebell workouts and kettlebell training. Recently, I had a conversation with my wife, and her response was, honestly, most people just don't care. And it pains me to say it, but I think she's right. About what? Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But first, in this video series, this is the third of at least a few more that, thanks to a request by one of my good customers, Bruno, we're going to be covering the 5 levels of kettlebell training, and more importantly, what that means for you in order to see the results you want to see by using your kettlebells. If you missed the other 2 videos, go back and get the other 2 videos, right? Catch up, and then come back and finish this. All right, so here is the old screen share. This is level 2 that we're going to be covering. Single kettlebell, clean, military press, snatch, push press, and jerk. Now, in yesterday's video, we covered level 1. So again, if you missed that, go back and check out the previous video before watching this, because that's going to lay the foundation, that in the very first video for this video. All right. What many people don't see here is that typically I split up level 2 into level 2A and level 2B. So level 2A is the clean, the military press, and the snatch, and level 2B is the push press and the jerk. Why? That's because level 2B, push press, and the jerk require more coordination and more mobility. So not quite level 3 work yet, right? But certainly worth splitting up into A and B. All right. So where does that extra coordination and that mobility come from? From spending more time in levels 1 and 2, particularly in level 1, excuse me. So let's take a closer look at these single kettlebell exercises. First up is the clean. Now, the clean is a delivery system. You can think of it as a delivery system, as well as a perfectly good exercise in its own right, but it is a delivery system nonetheless to get the kettlebell up into the rack position. Okay, so the rack is here, right? I should probably get a kettlebell, but you get my point. There's the rack, and it's the spot where your chest and your shoulder meet right here. Okay, so the kettlebell will be sitting right here, and it'll be sitting on your body. All right. So the important thing to know about the rack is it's the starting point and the ending point for other exercises in level 2, like the military press or the single kettlebell front squat. Right. So we don't show that in level 2, but technically it's a level 2 exercise. Right. So furthermore, the rack position is also the starting point and the finishing point for the push press and the jerk. Right. The clean, fantastic exercise, as well as a delivery system for working your arms. The backswing from the rack under the legs puts a powerful eccentric stretch or eccentric load on your biceps and your forearm muscles, training your grip as well. Okay. And man, that by itself makes it a valuable exercise for some, especially for people who ask, well, how do you work your arms? Go do, 50 cleans and get back to me. Tell me the next morning if you can comb your hair or not. All right. So here's something else that's pretty interesting about the clean is it teaches you how to accept, absorb, and redirect force, something that's incredibly valuable for combat and collision sports like American football or BJJ, right? So the other interesting final piece about the clean is when you go heavy enough, it actually works your upper back. So gives you what they call that, the power look. So big, thick traps. Okay. Next up is the military press, also known as the press, also known as the shoulder press. It too is a very powerful upper body developer. In fact, the single kettlebell press and the double kettlebell press, which we'll see later on in level 4, are arguably the best upper body developers of all the kettlebell exercises. Okay. So it's great for building upper body muscle. It works your shoulders, your upper chest, or your clavicular pecs, this area right here, your triceps, your biceps, and even your upper back. Now, here's something that's pretty cool about it. Due to the asymmetrical loading, right, we're loading one side and not the other, it's also a powerful abdominal builder. So if I have the kettlebell on my right side and I press, if my left obliques aren't working, I'm going to fall over. So as I press with my right side, my left obliques get a lot of work, and vice versa. Press with my left side, my right obliques get a lot of work. right? Super important because the obliques are responsible for twisting, rotating, side bending, and resisting rotation and side bending. All right. And so the military press, single kettlebell military press, helps you train those motions. Okay. So here's something that most people don't know, because a lot of people are still living in the 1990s where they're taught to never lock their knees and never put strain on their joints, never lock your joints. It's bad for you. And so they're still pressing with bent knees. But if you press correctly with straight knees, pressing also involves your legs and your hips, because you're forcing them to contract isometrically, which means without moving. And that makes them work very, very hard indeed. All right. So that is the military press. Let's take a look at our next level 2 exercise, the snatch, also known as the czar of kettlebell lifts. Czar means king, and that's because it is a great total body developer. In fact, some could argue, which is why it's called the king, right? The czar, that it is the number one total body developer using a single kettlebell, right? So furthermore, this is pretty fascinating. I thought that in the original research published in the 1980s by the Soviets, the snatch was one of the exercises that was responsible for increasing pull-up numbers, faster run times, and better overall endurance without practicing any of those events, right? So think about that. Nothing but snatches. And I think they threw some clean and jerks in there too, if my memory serves me correctly, but they didn't go out and practice pull-ups, running fast like sprints, or doing endurance work, right? Like mile repeats. And what they found was the snatch especially improved those numbers. So pretty cool, right? But there is a caveat. In order to learn the snatch correctly, you need the proper hip drive, which is built from the swing. You need mastery of the trajectory of the kettlebell, also known as taming the arc. And that comes from learning the clean, right? You need to secure the proper overhead lockout position right here, right? And that comes from building a proper overhead lockout position in the Turkish Get Up, right? Being able to support the weight here, and then being able to move the load from the rack overhead in the press, okay? So the snatch is really a culmination of many skills, right? Primarily all the exercises that come before it, okay? So don't be too quick to jump to the snatch, right? You should have a firm foundation that goes before your snatch, okay? What happens if you decide to rush this and skip it? Nothing major, except for maybe an injured elbow, busted up shoulder, and a wrenched lower back. Okay, so nothing major, nothing that won't take more than 6 to 12 weeks to fix. Okay, maybe. So, all right, let's move on to the push press. And just think of the push press as a military press that you cheat up by using your legs. So there's just a little dip of the upper body by bending the knees. Then you straighten the knees quickly and jam the weight overhead. Okay, now the reason I categorize it as a 2B exercise is that most people, they let their middle go. And what I mean by that is they aren't able to stay tight in the middle and keep their abdominals pressurized. And that can hurt the lower back. And that is a skill that is learned in the level 1 and the level 2A exercises that is then brought to the push press. Okay, so again, don't be in a rush to get to the push press. Make sure you get level 1, level 2A exercises going first. All right, so finally, level 2B, the final level 2B exercise and the final level 2 exercise is the jerk. And it is arguably the most athletic of the kettlebell lifts. I'm not going to go into deep detail on it. Suffice to say, other than these two things, you need very good thoracic spine mobility, and you need very good shoulder mobility and stability in order to perform the jerk safely. Okay. Now, okay, I lied. I'll go a little deeper. The reason I don't cover off on that very much, I do have a specialized jerk, clean and jerk course. That's a level 4 course that I won't get into here. But the reason I don't go into that very much, especially with the single kettlebell exercises, is that most people don't have the thoracic spine mobility or the shoulder mobility and stability and flexibility required. And not only that, they just don't have the desire or the wherewithal in order to go get it. right? So there's a colloquialism we use here in the States that if you're overseas, you're probably not familiar with, but it goes like this: the juice isn't worth the squeeze. You can get probably 95% of what you need to from the clean and jerk, from the clean and push press, or from the jerk, from the push press. Okay. So again, it's still a skill, and some people want to master it like me. So just want to make you aware that it does exist. All right. Now, so I've taken the time to detail these level 2 lifts because for most, this level 1 and level 2 will make up the bulk, the core of your kettlebell work for the first year or more of your training with kettlebells. All right. But don't let that discourage you, because as you look up the pyramid to what some perceive as the more sexy double kettlebell lifts, you'll see that you still have to get through level 3. Okay. We'll cover on that next time. But again, just remember, you can forge a very, very powerful physique from just, right, air quotes, just these single kettlebell lifts. I mean, think about how your body and your abilities would change if you could check off the following boxes. All right. So in your mind's eye, do a Turkish Get Up with half your body weight for multiple sets. Right. So if you weigh 200 pounds, imagine being able to do a Turkish Get Up with 100 pounds or 48 kilo, 106 pound kettlebell over your head, 10 sets and 1 rep on each side. You'd be pretty strong, right? Right. Your body would probably change if you could do that. What about one hand swings with half your body weight for 10 sets of 10 reps in one training session? Right? You'd be pretty strong and pretty powerful if you could do that. Again, 200 pounds, 106 pound kettlebell, 10 sets, 10 reps. Right? Now, what if you could do that in 10 minutes? You'd have some good conditioning, right? And then your body would change to reflect the strength and the conditioning that you gain from doing that, right? Okay, so again, don't let this discourage you. Let's take a look at a couple more boxes you could check off. What if you could snatch a third of your body weight for 10 sets of 10 reps, right? So according to research, 26 to 33% of your body weight is the power zone, right? If you used a kettlebell, that was 26 to 33% of your body weight, and you could do that for 10 reps, right? Like, how powerful would you be? Just imagine if you could do the 5-minute snatch test without breaking a sweat. So the 5-minute snatch test is 100 reps with a 24 kilo kettlebell in 5 minutes. Again, you'd be in pretty quote unquote good shape, right? Now, what if you could do that with a 28 kilo or even a 32 kilo and you weigh 200 pounds, right? You'd be in quote unquote pretty good shape, and your body would change to reflect that good shape, right? Here's some more boxes for you to check. What if you can military press half your body weight with just one arm, right? Like, how strong would you be if you weighed 200 pounds and you could press 106 pound kettlebell on each arm? Yeah, I think you'd be pretty strong, right? Right. Now, what if you could clean and press a third of your body weight on each arm for up to 100 reps in a training session? Yeah, you'd be pretty strong, right? So what if you could, let's put some real numbers on that. You're 200 pounds. What if you could clean and press a 32 kilo kettlebell for 10 sets of 5 reps on each arm in one training session? Again, your body would change to reflect those strength gains. Yeah. All right. What about this? Clean and push press, half your body weight on each arm for up to 100 reps in a training session. So again, imagine that 200 pounds, you take that 48 kilo kettlebell and you do 100 clean and push presses combined in one training session. Do you think you'd be in pretty good shape? Do you think you'd be pretty strong, right? Do you think that if you were trying to burn some body fat, that you might burn a calorie or two, right? So do you think that might get your heart rate up? Do you think you might still be sweating a little bit at the end of your workouts, right? What do they call that? I don't even remember what they call that, epoch, right? So like, you're still sweating, you're still breathing hard long after you're done working out, right? I think some of these boxes that you could check would certainly get you there, okay? So once you have checked those boxes, you don't have to check all those boxes, but certainly, again, let's give you some ideas. Then you have the skill and the foundation ready for the more advanced double kettlebell work found in level 4. Make sense? All right. Hope so. Good. Let's talk about programming here in level 2. All right. In level 2, we're focused primarily on building strength. So the reps are going to be low-ish, right? So for grinds, which is what we call the slow lifts, like the military press, we're going to keep it between 1 and 5 reps per set. Ballistics, which are the faster lifts, so we're talking clean, snatch, push press, jerk, we're going to do up to 10 lifts per set, right? Or 10 reps per set. Now, getting back to what my wife said, right? Like most people don't care. That's unfortunate because most people just don't care about being this systematic. They don't care about learning proper kettlebell technique and doing things right. That's not what the average person wants, right? They just want a quote unquote good workout, something that makes them sweat, breathe hard, wake up sore the next morning, maybe puke on their shoes if they're into that Uncle Pukey, Pukey the Clown. Got my Uncle Rhabdo and Pukey the Clown confused there. Yeah, maybe if they want some rhabdo or some Pukey the Clown, right, where they throw up on their shoes or end up in the hospital, that's really what they're looking for, right? They're really just in this for the short term. Short term? I don't know what a short term is, but a short term, you know what that is, right? They're really just like the old rat in the cage, punching the button, trying to get the dopamine hit, which I guess is fine if you are just looking for the dopamine hit. But to me, why not go for the long-term gains as well as the short-term gains, right? Why not feel like you got a good workout and see long-term success, right? So this is why we often see people say things like, oh, I tried those kettlebells and I got hurt. Like, I hurt my lower back. That kettlebell hurt my lower back. Really? Like it was the kettlebell's fault? How about if we correlated that or compared that to driving? Right? Nobody would say that about driving. Oh, I tried that driving thing and I got in an accident. Not for me. Yeah, dude, but you were a moron, right? You were texting and driving. Okay. So I digress here a little bit, kind of getting on my soapbox and kind of getting preachy. Okay. The point is, if you're systematic in your programming, you can make fantastic and phenomenal gains using just these level 2 exercises combined with some level 1 exercises. All right. So what about some specific programming? If you don't want to put any of this stuff together yourself and you're looking to get stronger, leaner, better conditioned, right? Noticeably so. I put a program together. It's called Kettlebell Burn 2.0. And I'll just leave the link here below this video. You can check it out if you want to. And it's there for the purchasing. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And we will see you in the next one where we start covering the level 3 programming. All right. Talk to you soon, my friend. Stay strong.